In our Boss at the Helm classes and workshops, we talk a lot about communication. In our last Mini But Mighty leadership lesson, we talked about barriers in communication. This time, we're going to look at personalities and how we can flex our approach to communicating differently depending on the people that we're talking to. Personalities, there are a lot of attributes and different tests, but I like to follow the example of Vanessa Van Edwards that says if you speed read people, meaning you know what your tendencies and personality type is like, and then you learn about others, you'll be able to understand when perhaps you might need to change up the way you connect with them, try a different tactic for talking or communicating. As you begin to understand other people's personalities and their tendencies, it will help you be a better communicator. Learning about personalities and character traits, archetypes, it can be so fascinating. Typically, we approach this from a who am I perspective, which is helpful for our self awareness and growth. But we can also look at who are you? Who are they? It becomes an incredible tool for us as leaders, for ourselves and our teams. When you understand that perhaps you prefer to pause and digest or to read something before you respond, but you realize you're working closely with someone who likes to scan and thinks rapidly on their feet, you may start to see where barriers and assumptions creep in and make it tricky for us to communicate and connect. There are a ton of personality tests, and the challenge with trying to wield them at work is typically the cost and the changing landscape of our teams. There's attrition, promotion, new hires, organic growth. Plus, it always seemed to me that we would shell out money for these tests, and a consultant would come in and read through them with us, and then that was it. It never went any further. We generally or rarely allow the whole organization to go through those personality tests. I really like Ocean because it's easy to remember and people can mostly self identify quickly when they have descriptors. Here are some of the ways that Vanessa Van Edwards describes Ocean so that it's more approachable, so that you understand more about each of the personality types. I've mentioned Vanessa Van Edwards several times in some of the other Mini But Mighty leadership videos because she's got amazing courses and resources that'll help you learn to, as she says, speed read people. At a very minimum, learn which tendencies you have, and then try to identify, if not outright ask, the personality tendencies of the people on your team or the colleagues you work most closely with. If you've been struggling to coach a sales rep who's spending more time on their CRM data entry than they are actually selling, maybe you'll discover that they're low open and high conscientious, that they're ambiverts and they either need a different motivator to go out and sell or a role that lets them focus on predictable analytical skills like business development. These are the things that you can dive into that will help you in your communication if you take a look at personality. Join us here every Friday for another Mini But Mighty leadership lesson. It's an easy place to learn more about awareness and leadership so you can level up. Like and subscribe to this channel. Lead yourself, then lead others. Be a boss.